Kendrick just ended the rap beef, and a lot of people don't
stuff.
seem to
Listen to this
understand
shit.
that it's over.
Listen.
That it's done.
Listen.
Or shall I say, it is finished. I'll get into it. Kendrick is a master storyteller, and I really want to connect all these dots that I think people are not looking at. Before I get into that, thank you anybody who's been following along with the eye surgery journey. As you can see, they're doing really well. The only thing is things are still blurry, and they're going to be that way until the stitches come out in August. If you don't know what I'm talking about, my last like 5 videos get pretty in depth, so you can get caught up to speed. After that procedure, I realized I hadn't updated y'all. They healed up pretty well. I got a sty on this eye. You can see a little bit of the remnant, and that's because washing my face with soap sucks. Even the least bit amount of soap in my eye, it's awful. So not doing that anymore. Eye doctor recommended these wipes. I'm gonna show y'all what brand in case anybody else gets styes regularly, so that y'all can be freed from that too. Back to this beef. I've been an avid Kendrick fan since I heard him on Mac Miller's Fight the Feeling. Good Kid, Mad City came out right after I became a fan. I was a fan of Drake's up until he said, "Cops out here killing people with their arms up. I'm charged up." And I came to the realization that's the first time he mentioned police brutality, and it was for the sake of a bar hitting harder. Let's go. I thought that was the corniest thing I've ever seen, and I never looked at him the same since. That being said, this means a lot to me. All of this was going on. I've been wanting to speak on it as it's been happening, but now that it's finished, I want to paint the image of Kendrick being a masterful storyteller. Come on, let's go. One thing that bothered me was everybody kept quoting the line from Euphoria, "Don't tell no lie on me, and I won't tell the truth about you." He said that on the Hard Part 4. Yes, he did. And if you listen since Control, anytime Kendrick has smoke on a song, you could easily assume it was probably for Drake. Yeah, it was rumored he was talking about Big Sean too. I'm sure that might have been true. It's always for Drake. It's always been for Drake. That's always been the case. On the Hard Part 4, after saying this motif of "Don't tell a lie on me, I won't tell no truths about you," 30 millions later, my future favors the legendary status of a hip-hop rhyme savior. That's been fulfilled. Now we can go into a whole other dissertation about how Drake, I wouldn't say ruined, but he diluted hip-hop. By bringing all these other people in, we lost so many recipes. Ever since writing my thesis in high school about tracing the Harlem Renaissance through hip-hop today and using Kendrick as an example, Kendrick always uses elements of hip-hop. He's done this all throughout this beef. Yes. He's done it all throughout his career. Look at To Pimp a Butterfly. That album is black back to front. But we've begun to open the doors to hip-hop to people who don't value penmanship, to people who don't value the oldies and sampling and the soul and the jazz essence that was the backbone of hip-hop for some time. With this being said, one could say hip-hop was headed in a very... Look at all the old heads when all the mumble rappers started coming in. Man, this ain't hip-hop. Yes, it's evolving, but we're losing recipes. So if it stayed true to its essence at its core, sure, but it hasn't. So while Drake might have had more influence on hip-hop today, Kendrick has advanced it. When we're talking about recipes, Kendrick has advanced it. Agreed. Cole too, but I ain't even gonna bother talking about that, man. I'm gonna digress. Now, Kendrick being a masterful storyteller and ending this beef. For anyone that listened to, not heard, but listened to Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, understands that Kendrick already has disassembled himself as a man over wax and took us along on his healing journey, showing that all of us are worthy of redemption, using Kodak Black as a narrator throughout this entire thing. The only incomplete part of this healing journey was off of Father Time, when he was talking about Drake. When Kanye got back with Drake, I was slightly confused. Guess I'm not mature as I think. Got some healing to do. And that's what this beef has been the catalyst for, that healing. Since Mr. Morale, what has he done? Just had fun on some tracks with his little cousin? This is the first purposeful thing he's done since. Go for it. And if there's one thing we've learned over Kendrick's entire discography and this beef, is that he is very intentional. Absolutely. Everyone said it when he hopped on like that. Absolutely. This is a trap. Yes. And Drake... Mr. Macbeth, Mr. Icarus, who couldn't let it go of that pride, whose ego's too large for the world, walked right into it as he played. I'm not getting into the lyrical breakdowns. That's for everybody else on this app. I'm speaking towards something that no one is talking about. He took the 17 days that he didn't respond in order to get all of this done, to have it ready to go, because he predicted his every move, on top of having a mole inside of OVU. This entire stretch, beginning with Euphoria, was him therapizing Drake. Agreed. He slowly peeled back the layers of his celebrity and his fame, He called out his insecurities.
Yes,
he held up this mirror to him for him to be able to see his own self and his soul and all the harm he is inflicting on the people around him. And even with Mr. Morale with the album cover, if you listen to Kendrick, you understand he's a man of faith. I'm a man of faith. So when he did the Crown of Thorns, I'm like, what is he going for here? What? I didn't want to go blasphemer because he's very intentional with everything he does. Now it don't sit well with my spirit so much, but I know he meant that there was a message in there. He was going for a thing. And throughout this entire beef, all I kept going back to, I kept listening to Savior. Kendrick made you think about it, but he is not your savior. And I'm going to revisit that at the end of this video.
Love it.
We as fans play a very imperative role of what happens next. To stripping that man down, he then goes, your entire entourage, all this money you be hiding behind, it ain't even as fortified as you think. This whole castle you built, it's crumbling, brother. If you listen closely to each song, he's really coming from a place of love. Just embarrassing him along the way, but this is coming from a place of love because none of his closest people would do this. I like Drake with the melodies. I don't like Drake when he act tough. Keep me waving my hand, doing my dance, it won't be no threat. And he told him, the people next to you don't got the audacity to tell you. And what's the thing a real person would do? A real friend would call you out on your nonsense and tell you to do and be better. Who's done that? Everybody around Drake seemingly has been a yes man. And if they haven't, they probably got silenced, pushed out the picture. Kendrick understood his power. He understood his position. He said it on wax. He said this. Everything I'm talking about, he said on wax, bro. Just don't be listening. Then on the last track, and something everybody's been talking about, even from Euphoria, is Kendrick's masterful ability to control his tone, inflection, and voice. He was so genuine talking to every single one of his family members. It wasn't just him screaming at he was very genuine talking to
Agreed.
He had smoke for Dennis for not showing up for his kid, and this is how he turned out. That's why he said, look at the son you raised. But everybody's stuck on him having a daughter. What do we...
Yep.
We as fans play a very crucial role in what comes next, man. Kendrick said, Cat got his truth off, it's my turn. I've been in this industry 12 years. I've been seeing and hearing. Everybody, what Cat say? Everybody coming to me, telling me. That's exactly what Kendrick said. When has Kendrick ever lied on wax?
Not never.
And how many countless times has Drake? I stopped trusting him after that charged up verse. Started from the bottom was the first red flag, because no, you didn't. As a person from the gutter,
thank you.
We spot that a mile away. I don't want to be no hypocrite because being from the hood don't make me a street nigga. I'm a hood nigga. I'm from the hood. I ain't no street nigga, and I tried to be for some time. And all the dudes out there used to look at me like, As a matter of fact, one of them used to call me Holy Cross. Hey, Holy Cross. Because that's where I went to college. It was almost like him saying, college boy. Because they look at me like, you can't do both. Some of us ain't had no choice. Right. But you out here trying to play this thug. And you know the moment I got everybody respect out there? Is when I started walking in who I am. When I owned who I am. And I've struggled with that my entire life. Since middle and elementary school. Being who I am and being okay with that regardless of whether people liked it or not. The moment I accepted that, they all, yo, Slammer Scud, that. Drake, here he is, 37 years old, still hiding behind the money and the yes man. And whatever Drake responds with doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It's finished.
More stories are going to come out. More reports are going to be made. More evidence is going to surface. Is he going to get R. Kelly? Is he going to get Tory Lanez? Or are we going to protect him? Because he makes good music.
Well said.
Kendrick put himself on the chopping block. Hip-hop's rhyme savior. It is finished.